Who is Jewelery Bonney? And why her character matter far more than you think? What do we know about Jewelery Bonney? Well, we know that she is a woman who possesses a paramecia-like devil fruit that can allow her to take a younger or older appearance, which is very nice when you don't want to be recognized by the way. Plus, out of all the supernovae, she is the only one which we don't know the age, but we can make the reasonable assumption that she is older than her appearance may suggest. In fact, she could possibly be the real Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom, since her appearance in Marigeoise suggest, as well as her feelings towards Kuma. We should ask this question the other way around. Imo. Why wouldn't she be the real queen after all? We know that the real queen is still alive, as the guards in Marigeoise recognize her when she tried to enter a prohibited area. If she was dead, she wouldn't have been invited to the Jewelery in the first place, and the guards would have been more suspicious. So if she is not the queen herself but rather someone else who has the exact same appearance and also very close relations with the former king of the Sorbet Kingdom, Kuma, this means that there were two queens dowager at the Jewelery, which would be very odd, Imo, and in the end her cover could have potentially blown up because of that, which is not what she wanted in order to rescue Kuma, I believe. I also believe that if the real queen was dead, the world government would have known it, since the Sorbet Kingdom is affiliated with the WG. Which means that the only other way around for Bonney to come to the Jewelery without taking the risk to blow her cover up was if she asked the real queen to go at the Jewelery instead of her in the first place, which I highly doubt, because she was captured by Blackbeard not so long after Marineford, and then she was held captive by the Marine, not to mention that we don't know how nor when she escaped from the Marine, but after she escapes she could not possibly have come back to the Sorbet Kingdom in order to meet the real queen right in time before the Jewelery, just to ask the queen this, and without the Marines noticed it. Furthermore, which mother wouldn't want to rescue his son when she knows that he is held captive by the worst species on Earth, the Tenryubito? That's why I strongly believe that she is in fact Kuma's mother, the real Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom. But this is not a big deal. It's only now that the real theory begins, and when it becomes exciting, laughing face. I've just said that which mother wouldn't want to rescue his son when she knows that he is held captive by, which is true, but this raises the question, rather, Bonney is or isn't Kuma's mother. How on earth was she aware that Kuma was held captive by the Tenryubito at Marigeoise? In the first place, there is also a Kainu's reaction when he got hold of her that was weird. He said, basically, that he was very worried when she escaped from the WG. Which means that before we encounter her for the first time in Shabodi, she was already held captive by the WG, not by the Marines. And that at some point she had escaped from them once already. Which means that by the time she came to the Jewelery, she had already escaped from them twice. Even if her devil fruit is very useful when it comes to hide her identity, I don't think that she could have break from prison twice in 2 or 3 years, especially if she had seized handcuffs like prisoners normally have. Plus, we know for sure that she was not imprisoned in Impel Down, because we met her before Luffy went to Impel Down, and we know for a fact that besides Luffy and Morley, the only other pirate who has ever escaped from ID was Shiki the Golden Lion. That means that she was probably not imprisoned, but rather held captive by the WG for some reason, maybe because she was useful to them in some way after all, which would also explain why she wouldn't have seized handcuffs if she were to work for them, and also how she was able to escape from twice, or perhaps only once if she was released the second time before she comes to Marigeoise in order to save Kuma. In fact, if she had finished her work for the WG, they might have honored the deal and freed her. Anyway, do you see where I go now? No, you don't? Well, let me help you a little more. Do you know any other character that have a special relationship with Kuma and who is also working with the WG, and that could potentially be aware that Kuma is held captive in Marigeoise? Is it clearer now? Not to mention Bonnie's bounty, 140M, which is more than Luffy after he beat Crocodile's ass. We don't know Bonnie very well, but she looks very weak, as Blackbeard stated when he captured her, but assuming that she is the Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom, as I said earlier, how on earth could she possibly have a bounty of 140M? I mean, her country is still affiliated with the WG to this day, so they don't need to capture the queen of an affiliated country in order to ask her to work for them, I suppose, which is what J. Bonney was doing, I believe, considering what I just said above. So in the end, I believe that even if she is the Queen of SK, which I strongly believe, her bounty has nothing to do with that, but rather with her being J. Bonney instead. That raised two questions, Imo. The first one is, are the Marines aware that she is also the Queen of SK, and if not, do they even know of her devil fruit abilities? Anyway, her devil fruit might be useful to escape from the Marines, but it does not give her an enormous power which would explain her bounty alone. Even if the Marines know her devil fruit, I don't believe that she could have a higher bounty than Zoro pre-time skip thanks to it. Plus, remembering Akainu's dialogue with J. Bonney, the fact that he said that he was worried when he learned that she had escaped the WG. I feel that this is the reason of her bounty being that high. Because they need her so much that they want to capture her back right away, not because she is a dangerous pirate. Otherwise, why would they ask her to work for the WG? They could just have imprisoned her and impelled down in the first place if they saw her as a threat and not as a tool. This is why I strongly believe that Jewelery Bonney, alias the Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom, is also the Dr. Vegapunk. Now you wonder, how is it possible, since she is the Queen of the Sorbet Kingdom and that we know for a fact that the Dr. Vegapunk is from Karakuri Island, aka the advanced country of Baltimore? Well, first, we don't know Vegapunk's age. As for J. Bonney as well, and Connie is the Queen Dowager of the SK. Not the Queen Dowager, which means that she could totally come from another country and get married with the former king of the SK. Now, you may ask, how could possibly J. Bonney, alias Dr. Vegapunk, travel from Karakuri Island, which is located in the first half of Grand Line, to the SK, which is located in South Blue? Well, Dr. Vegapunk is known to have discovered the properties of Seaston, and this is how the Marines' ship can travel across the Calm Belt, easy peasy. And last but not least, how could possibly the Dr. Vegapunk be a woman? Is he not supposed to be a man, as we saw in Frankie's flashback, the citizen who helped him talk about Dr. Vegapunk as if he was a man? Well, I don't think that Oda has ever stated that Dr. Vegapunk was a man in an SBS or something. The only thing we know when it comes to his genre is a silhouette that Oda drew a very long time ago, but as for Kaido, the first silhouette that we saw for this character might not looks like the actual real character at all. And even if Dr. Vegapunk was a man, the Okama Kingdom is located in the first half of Grand Line, and Vegapunk could also have become a woman later in her life, before getting married with the former king of the SK. Or, other possible explanation, Dr. Vegapunk wanted people to refer to her as a male character for some reason, even though she was a girl. Kinda Yamato is a female character, but everybody referred to her as a man because she wants to be like Odin. It could also be true for Dr. Vegapunk. Also, Vegapunk is a weird name. I believe that it is not the actual name of the character behind this identity, and that it is meant to hide his true identity. If you were the queen of a certain kingdom, I feel like you wouldn't want people to know that you are also the most brilliant scientist on Earth. You would rather keep your identity hidden. Also, I believe that Dr. Vegapunk could have easily cloned himself, herself, and give potentially his clone the appearance of a man. Then his clones could help him to work faster, or they could simply replace him while Vegapunk, alias J. Bonney, escape the WG to go to the Jewelery instead, for example. Because I remember Fujitora and Greenbull talking at the Jewelery about Dr. Vegapunk, who was almost done completing the SSG. How could have Vegapunk finished the SSG by the time the Jewelery was over, assuming Bonney is Vegapunk, if Bonney was at the Jewelery herself? Well, if she has clones, she could do that. Also, I've checked up J. Bonney and Vegapunk's birthday, and they are not the same. If one of them was in fact a clone, that would explain why they don't have the same birthday. Also, fun fact, when CP0 told Orochi that it was not possible to bring Dr. Vegapunk, it would be funny if it was actually because J. Bonney had already escaped, and she was in fact the Dr. Vegapunk. Also, it would be funny if Green Bull and Fujitora were talking about Vegapunk at the Jewelery while Bonney, who is also Dr. Vegapunk according to my theory, was there too. We still don't know what happened at the end of the Jewelery, but sure, when the admirals were fighting Sabo, they might have also crossed Bonnie's path. And if Dr. Vegapunk had escaped, I don't think that we would learned it in the news, since it is certainly an information that the WG would prefer to keep secret, as well as Vegapunk himself, herself. And last but not least, we know that Kuma was the former king of the SK before he became a Shichibukai, so that means that Connie, alias J. Bonney, alias the Queen Dowager, is her mother. I've already told that, but my point is that Connie is very small in comparison to Kuma, and I am thinking, what if Kuma was already a cyborg before he joined the Shichibukai? If Bonney is in fact Dr. Vegapunk, she could have easily modify her son before he joins the Shichibukai. And since Bonney does not look like she has any particular connections to the Revolutionary Army, unlike Kuma, it could very well be Kuma's idea to ask for her mother to work for the WG in order to allow him to infiltrate the WG. Then she could have add Kizaru's laser and all sort of things to the pacifistas, but she might not be responsible for Kuma's detention in Marigeoise, since he is the one who openly blow his cover up at Shabodi when he saved the Straw Hats. I know this is a lot. You don't have to trust me. But now that you know what I know, every time you will see J. Bonney you will think, what if he was right? What if Bonney is the queen of SK, Kuma's mother, and also the one who was responsible for Kuma's body modifications, the Dr. Vegapunk herself? What if she had escaped from Marigeoise with Sabo and Vivi, and that we met her in Elbaf with the straw hat, and that she revealed to them that she is the Dr. Vegapunk? What if she is the one responsible for the Sunny's modifications in the future in order to counter Pluton that will probably fall in the hands of the Cross Guild? And then in Blackbeard's hand. What if Luffy fall in love with her because she eat more than him? What if the Dr. Vegapunk become a Straw Hat? Well, I suppose it will surprise us, and I suspect Oda would like to do just that, so I might be right after all. What do you think? Did you enjoy my theory? Do you have any counter-arguments to my theory that I did not address already? Thanks for reading, and sorry for the spelling. Autograph lol winking face.